Okay guys, I'm gonna make a video showing my routine for the day. Number one, supplements, okay? Okay guys, so for the next training cycle, leading into finals, I'm gonna start doing like 1 day a week where I show most of my routine, and then the rest of the week will be me training, okay? As a national champion, now that I can say that, I'm gonna share what I believe to be very important and something that will help all athletes, okay? This is my routine to start the day, okay? So after I eat breakfast, which, maybe next week I'll show you breakfast, I start with supplements, okay? And importantly, this will be the pre-workout for the day, okay? So, first off, I'm gonna start with some creatine. Creatine I like to use 2 to 3 scoops. All right, as a bigger person, you need more creatine than the normal dose, yeah? Next, pre-workout. This one's called Expedite. It's from Snack Nutrition. As you can see, I have a few snack products. Highly recommend. Guys, everything I do, I highly recommend everything I do, okay? 2 scoops of this. That's the normal serving. It has caffeine, citrulline, stuff that makes you cough, caffeine, citrulline. It's like a basic pre-workout, okay? Pre-workout, creatine. Next, now the different creatine. This one is, the HCL, HCL. I've heard both of them are good. Both of them do a little different stuff. So, as a competitor, you want to leave as little stones unturned as possible, okay? This is a little bit of a carb supplement. I'll take this as I'm working out. Right now, since I ate some carbs, I'll hold off on this for now. This is just a little carb drink. Okay, next, Nope, this is not pre. Electrolytes. Throw a little bit of electrolytes into here, like half a serving. Okay, next, citrulline. So this pre-workout already has some citrulline, but guys, L-citrulline, this product, citrulline, gives you energy to just keep going and keep training for hours, okay? It sounds silly, but all these supplements really help me to train for hours and hours and hours, okay? Whereas if you don't, or if I don't, I could probably train for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and then I feel flat. With these supplements, never flat. Okay, now next, I have these pills, okay? These 2 I will take. This one's Hypoxygen. Basically, it's vitamin B6 and B12 and some other things. But what these pills do is it goes into the energy, right? It gives you energy. Okay, this one is Vitalize. This one's like a caffeine. It has caffeine, some vitamin B6, and some more stuff. But again, this one is the same concept. Helps you train for hours and hours, okay? Okay, so mix this up a little bit. Take these. Okay, and then I also have these two pill packs. This one is just like a vitamin, basic, all the vitamins. And then this one is for testosterone. It's supposed to boost your testosterone. So it has like support, whatever goes into the supporting your testosterone. Okay, this is what this one looks like. I don't know if this is really a good pill pack, but as I said, when you're training and you want everything out of everything, you have to supplement. So on here it says Ultimate Foundation. All of this together, I believe, is the ultimate foundation to training, because it allows you to put in more time and more work than your competitors. So you have to build a bigger foundation to get higher up, right? Okay, and then this is the, what is this one? Advanced test. It's just basic, it's just more vitamins. It just looks like, ooh, testosterone. It has ashwagandha, fenugreek, Tongkat Ali, some other stuff. It's not too crazy. I feel like it's kind of like a cheaper one, but it's a little stack with a bunch of pills, okay? So, Carlos Nassar has a video on YouTube. It's on his channel. And he does something very similar. He shows all his supplements that he takes. And it's a part of the routine, okay? And like this one specifically, like this type of supplement, I haven't really always taken. Something that's supposed to increase your testosterone. But if you ever hear him in interviews, he says you have to. He says these work to do it. And there's research that shows that these different vitamins and, extracts and roots, whatever they put in here, there is evidence to show that they increase your testosterone. That's why it's a testosterone supplement. I'm not really big on this, but you have to. You have to if you want to reach your goals. If your goals are high and it requires a new capacity, I recommend it. So guys, I'll drink this, and then I'll head to the gym and I'll start warming up. All right, so on the way to the gym, I have a really short drive, okay? On the drive to the gym, it's important, this is something I think is important, is to get your playlist going, okay? Get your music playlist going and use a good playlist, all right? If you know your good playlists, play your good playlist. The playlist should also assist in what I talked about earlier, right? Is energy. Your energy just has to be able to go and go forever, okay? So what I typically like is some type of house or a house groove. Really, it has to be a groove. It has to be a groove where there's just like a bass or a beat and it's just going and going. Nothing too crazy. Definitely not overstimulating, but just like that groove that's just going, all right? So music on the way to the gym, kind of start your playlist as you're on the way. Okay, so here's my warm-up routine. I start with hamstrings, I get my back. This whole routine is about 30 to 40 minutes, okay? I spend a lot of time on my back and my hamstrings. First, I start with soft tissue work, massage, and then I really focus on loosening my back and my quads and my adductors, all that. Then I move to my shoulders, okay? My shoulders, loosening them out, stretching them, pulling on them. I try to spend about 5 minutes with the band, just pulling in all different directions, internal rotation, external rotation, all of that, okay? Just to build the strength of the stabilizers and all the little muscles. And then eventually I'll move to the bar, a few warm-ups at the bar. Again, that whole warm-up was probably 45 minutes, and it doesn't really do it justice to show, the time lapse of it in 30 seconds, but it's very important to spend all that time. Here's just a little extension of the warm-up. I'm trying to focus on landing on my heels here, making sure the heels almost hit first. This is just another good warm-up to get the squat loose and the knees ready just to snatch and be ready for squats and training in general. There's a little bit of a speed element too, right? So you have to be quick in finding that squat. Okay, so whenever I snatch, I like to start off with a warm-up that gets my positioning ready, specifically the shoulders and the hips, the balance, right, and all of that, just so that I'm working on a position that once the competition comes, it's something I've really worked on, right? So this is something that I think is important to start every snatch session with. It's just getting a feel for your overhead position, loosening up your hips, finding your balance, just getting the elbows locked, right? And I use film too, right? So after each set, I'll look at the video and I'll do my best to correct the little things that look a little bit off. Right? So like you might see my feet are pretty narrow here, so I may see that in the video, and then I'll try to widen out the next set, right? Again, the shoulders, everything in this movement will get strengthened the more you work on it. So it's something you should pay attention to and focus on. Okay, so I put the bands with the weights here, and what these do is it makes it even more important to find a balance, right? The plates will throw you off balance slightly, so you have to have like a higher sense of balance through the foot all the way through the whole motion, okay? I actually picked these up from Nurudinov. He posted them on his story one time with the band, okay? He doesn't have it as a post, but trust me, I got this from one of the best, and he was doing it with 100 kg. I think he had red plates, and then what was hanging was 2 yellows. So that's something I definitely want to progress as I'm training. One thing I found with this exercise is that it forces the position to be better, okay? So if your shoulders are bad or if your squat is off, you're not going to be able to do this at all. Once the plates start wobbling around when you catch the weight, you're going to fail and you're going to drop it, okay? So I noticed almost immediately that this forced better positioning. I think I messed up one of these, right? And basically what you have to do is you have to be in a higher control. I think I messed this one up. Oh, no, that's good. That's a good rep. So you have to be in a higher control of the weight and yourself, and the deviations, your body has to be able to control them and find a balance very quickly. Okay, so I'd recommend this one for sure for everybody. One thing I felt too specifically is it really opened my chest up. Okay, so as you can see, my eyes are down right now. Ideally, I could have my head up a little more, and I could get the chest more involved. But what I felt was my chest assisting in the stabilization. So it's like there's a better platform to balance the weight. Okay, so there I have 10 kg on each side. This is the final set. 10 kg is hanging, right? So this is the final set. Again, the chest should be involved, right? Your chest should be kind of upright. It's like as vertical posture as you can, just to allow the shoulder and everything be stabilized a little better. Okay, so now I'm moving to snatches. Whenever I go to the bar with the snatch, I like to do about 3 sets of 10 with just the bar, okay? And I kind of like to do no foot snatches just to smoothen out the pattern, right? So when I do go into the snatch with weight, the pattern is smooth, and I have around 30 reps with this move, right, of the snatch in its most like basic form. You go up, you go down, you catch it in a squat, and I've found this to really help make my snatch more smooth, spending 30 reps on just the barbell. So I personally recommend this to anybody, and you'll probably find it's very tiring for you to do at first, but what you're doing is you're strengthening all the little muscles and the positions and making it so it's more natural for you, right? If you just go into weight and do your sets without so many practice reps, you're missing out on potential to get a lot of reps and comfort in these positions. And another thing I've noticed too is it really makes it easy to add weight, right? So in its most basic form, this is the snatch, right? And then we're just adding weight to it. We're making sure the positions are good, and we're adding weight. So for today on snatches, I wanted to do no foot snatches for a few reps. So no foot, and then after 2 or 3 reps, I'll switch to moving my feet. And one of the keys here that I'm working on is landing on the heels. So focusing on landing on the heels, that way the squat can squat, right? So at first it's kind of the ball of the foot, or it's kind of quaddy where I catch it, and then I switch to the heel. So almost trying to keep the toe up in the air as I catch the squat. And I got this from Nurudinov. I kind of watched some of his video, and I noticed he was doing this exact thing. He'd catch the snatch and his toes would be off of the ground, right? And it really just, in my opinion, sets up a better squat and a better platform to sit into. Another thing I'm trying to do here, my focus really for this snatch session was my dynamic start. So my first rep, typically I get my butt up pretty well, right? So you'll see here as I lift my butt before I get into the snatch. Right there, it's pretty good, and that kind of sets up the rhythm of the whole snatch. But I noticed my second and third reps and fourth reps, my butt wasn't going as high. So it's one of those things I consciously have to remember or work on, is to get my dynamic start and my hips up right there for every rep. And like, see, that last one to my standard wasn't good enough. And really that sets up the whole rhythm of my snatch, right? That is the start of my snatch, is when I pull my hips up right there. And then everything else just follows, and then I'm focusing on catching on my heels. So I'm getting back into the swing of things, right? So I'm staying pretty light. It'll probably be a few weeks before I lift heavier. I'm really just trying to build my routine, my capacity. One thing about weightlifting is it's all a warm-up, right? You're essentially working on your warm-up routine in getting to the big weights. So for instance, like eventually when I am lifting heavier, the warm-ups will look just like this, okay? So it's really just the steps you're taking before you get into the big weights. But the precision and everything can still be there on these, right? Okay, so now I'm moving into a snatch pull, banded, double, triple banded snatch pull, one around the knees, one in front, okay? So the tempo to the knee is very slow and controlled, and then when you get to the knee, you want the shoulders to be over the bar to maintain a type of leverage, okay? When you keep the shoulders over the bar or in front of the bar, you're allowing your lever to extend, right? When your hips extend, your extension makes the bar go up, right? And then you can use your legs at the same time. This is a good angle to see. So you stay over the bar, pull the bar back, and then that little extension of the quads and the hips pulls the bar up. So it's really a leveraging system. Okay, so change the angle just to see. And again, like on this angle, you can see my feet are a little close. I noticed this after I watched it. So after this set, I pulled my feet a little wider for my start position. And again, the key to this snatch style, the snatch pull style, is to feel leverage and feel yourself over the bar at the knee or above the knee. And this sets up a really good extension that feels really natural. Again, I got these from Nurudinov. He does so much very cool things, and I've felt them work almost immediately every time I do them. That's why I do them. Okay, so these are just some front squats. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep my balance as perfect as possible. So if you pretend there's an outline around the shoe, I want my balance to be centered perfectly through my shoe, on the outside edges of both of my shoes, okay? One thing I noticed just when watching Nurudinov and Carlos Nassar is that the balance when they squat is very high level. And it's not just a squat, it's like a very balanced squat through the hips, the quads, the ankles. Everything maintains a good position. So I added these bands in just to put a little stimulus on that and try to heighten my sense of balance through my body. Okay, after front squats, I moved on to Hatfield squats. This is really where I'm going to try to build my strength in my body. Let's do the Hatfield squats. So I'm using these and I'm going to be going heavier, doing more reps. So sets of 5. My plan is to build these up as heavy as I can for sets of 5 going into my next competition, which is in December. So today I stayed at 335. This is well, actually I did 345 because that's 325, and then now this is 345. So just knocking the reps out, 5 reps, letting the hips get used to the squat, letting the quads get a little bit of a stimulus, and then I'll be pushing these. Okay, now moving on just to get more stimulus on the body. Trap bar deadlifts from the low blocks. I really like to look at this as a core exercise or like a full body exercise. Really, you're just strengthening your full body. It's been a while since I did these, so I just stayed with 175 today for a few sets of 6. I think these are really good for, just the pull of the clean, and there's a good stimulus on the quads too, and the knees and the feet to stay balanced and pull off of that little platform, right, of your lower legs. Okay, so another important thing that I'm going to be doing as often as possible is strengthening the back and the hamstrings. Back extensions are good for this. I'll be adding weight to these as well. There's like a famous Russian strength coach, I forget his name, but I think he's the guy that started plyometrics and shock training, and he said that you should do high reps, back extension, and good mornings, and I believe reverse hyperextensions too. So these just, give you that stimulus on your posterior chain, your glutes, your hamstrings, your low back, and these can go into making a really strong athlete. I think he said low back strength was important. Without low back strength, you can't use your legs and core and everything else nearly as well. Okay, so I just finished training. I was in the gym for about 3 hours and 40 minutes. I didn't go heavy, stayed light because I'm starting up slowly. So the whole point in taking like supplements and having good music is so that it allows you to train, right, for 3, 4, or 5 hours straight, and you leave the gym feeling fresh, right? So then what you do is you go and you rest, right? You eat your protein, you rest, and then since you left the gym fresh, after you rest, you're going to be fresh again, so you can train again, right? So let's say I worked out 3.5 hours, I can come back and work out another 2 to 3 hours easily. I can, and you saw in the video, right? Like, there's a lot more stuff I could do. I could do power cleans, I could do presses, I could do arm accessories, I could do abs. Like, there's still so much more I could do. And my session was about 4 hours. So to be a champion, you can't just train with what's on your program. Like, whatever you have on your program, you can't just do what's on your program. You need to do so much more. There's so much more you can do. I could even power snatch again. I could do squats again, right? Like, there's so much. I could do everything I did. I could do it again, right? And basically what that does is it makes me better at what I did, right? It only breaks you down if your body can't handle the load. So yeah, like I said, that was the workout for today. I'm just gonna keep it at that for now. I'll start adding sessions in maybe next week or the week after that. We'll see. Yeah, guys, so I just got home, and right after you work out, it's a good time to get your nutrition in. So what I'm taking is Snack Nutrition, just like their protein supplement. It's called Pro-Glycosine. It has a lot of carbs in it, so it's like 22 grams of protein, 22 grams of carbs. So it's a just a little post-workout, make sure you get the nutrients. It's got the basics. This is a good supplement, like if you're cutting. So let's say you're only allowed a certain amount of calories. This is a good supplement to go with, but what I like to do is I take this and then I also eat. All right, right now I'm not so hungry, so I will just take this supplement, and I'll also, now is a good time to take magnesium. This one is magnesium 3 and 8. Magnesium 3 and 8, okay? This is a good one. It's one that has good absorption. Yeah, I take magnesium. It's in a bunch of the supplements I take, but this one I got special because it's a higher quality magnesium. Okay, so take these with my protein, 3 capsules. Another thing about magnesium, it's supposed to help you like relax, right? So since now is when I want to rest and like kind of wind down from the caffeine and the training and the energy, I just kind of want to wind down. Take magnesium. All right. Okay, so after I drink my protein, I like to go in my hot tub. Right here I have electrolytes and powdered greens, just so I don't pass out in the hot tub. It's about 104 degrees, and then outside it's probably 104 degrees as well. This is something I like to do daily just to help me relax and unwind and, you know, keep my muscles loose. Okay, and that's it. That's it for today. I won't do any more training. So I'm just easing back in. That's it. I hope you liked it.